Penny, I mean this with love, but you are an embarrassment to this podcast.
I'm Penny. Hi, my name is Dan, and welcome to the Unusual Suspects podcast.
At least when I do it, I'm on in time.
He'll cut that so it sounds on time.
No, he's not editing anymore.
You're so rude.
I'll cut
Again,
it. I'll cut it so he's on time.
Just another rude comment by Penny. I'm trying my best here.
I'm going to do a
Jesus
supercut
Christ.
of all the times I'm mean to you, and then do a supercut of all the times you play the victim, and we'll see whose is longer.
It's going to be one of those episodes, is it? Anyway, hi everyone.
Anyway, I didn't even get to do... Yeah, I said, all right, Andy, you be the host. So I didn't even get to do the intro. I'm Dan, and the intro is now ruined by the favourite of the podcast, Penny.
Hi!
And the very, very sensible, non-angry Andy.
Hi.
Hey.
You're getting too good at that. I don't like it. I'm going to have to find something else. It's stealing my bit.
Yeah. We might be able to not have you on the podcast anymore and just have Andy do an impression of you the whole time.
Yeah.
I think you should. I'd listen once, and then I'd go back to the old ones, but you know.
Talk to myself most of the time anyway, so...
Wow, that went dark. Jesus. In a dark corner. Yeah, welcome to episode 25. It's nearly Christmas. It's December to the 3rd. Definitely.
Was that a number?
3rd.
You just guessed there.
I was trying to think a couple of weeks ahead and remember the date when this comes out. But merry month of Christmas, everyone. We just come out of lockdown. Yay. So...
Oh, maybe we have.
Oh, Ronan Keaton here if we haven't, but either way, I'm pretty certain we'll be out of lockdown. All is happy. We're all going to get very merry and very possibly drunk on these episodes as they go on towards the end of the year. So watch out for that.
Ooh.
I'm definitely fucking getting drunk. So
I'm in for
there you
that.
go.
It is Bailey's time.
It is Bailey's time. So
I thought you said baby's time. I was like, what?
Oh, God, no. No.
Who eats babies for Christmas?
Nah, babies for all year round, not just for Christmas. Oh, no, wait, that's puppies. I don't know. Christmas time, Baileys and wine. Don't eat babies,
this
it's not
fucking
the
podcast
time.
would fall apart without me. It'd just be tangent, Penny singing. Tangent, Penny singing. Bye! That's it. Okay, so I'm going to start. I've watched 2 films that I think I've told one of them to you about, especially Penny. I'm going to very light spoils. I'm not going to spoil everything. Don't worry, you don't have to turn off or anything, but I'm going to talk about 2 films. One of them I kind of was going to talk around when Halloween was out, but unfortunately I didn't get a chance because I had very important features to do, like talk about Big Macs and killings in drive-thrus and such and such.
I hope everyone's enjoying their Christmas double Big Macs. Talking of Big Macs.
Oh yeah, that's.
I'm excited.
I'm excited. We're so funny. Anyway, so one of the first films I watched, which is another smasher, literally from South Korea, which is called I Saw the Devil. I've recommended this to Penny only for reasons that it's very fucking gory.
Woo.
And it's nearly 3 hours long. And I know Andy couldn't even put up with, what's that film that had slightly gore in it?
Would you rather? It's not the gore I've got an issue with, is the realism. Okay,
well, this one's realistic-ish, and, well, yeah, it's realistic and a lot of gore and a lot of questionable scenes because...
I'm in.
Not trying to blame South Korea here, but they have put out a couple of films in the past 10, 20 years that have been very questionable to Western audiences. Let's put it that way.
Is that where Paddock's from?
Yeah, I Saw the Devil.
Was that Korean?
Paddock is. Yeah, I think Paddock is. Oh, fuck. Did we ever talk about Paddock?
Yes, and I was traumatized, so let's not. Thanks.
Oh, yeah. Go back to earlier episodes. I briefly talked about it. Very early episode. I Saw the Devil is basically, it's kind of like a cop film.
Right.
So it's like a guy is chasing a murderer. You know, it's a very basic setup. It's more of like a action suspense kind of crime. setup more than an actual, like, people immediately saw it and thought, oh shit, it's a horror film. Not really. It's more or less like a mystery suspense kind of thing. But Jesus Christ, I don't think in a long time I've seen a film. I'm trying to think back to the last time like a film has made me like squeal in terms of what you see on the fucking film. Yeah, it's like, this is why you kind of need to watch it to kind of confirm if it's actually me just being a bit of a pussy or like it's actually really too much, because it's been bad. Like, it had, I think I said it had several cuts that I had to do because there was some scenes that were just too much. They had to cut the film like several times to get rid of some footage. There's like a lot of footage that apparently they couldn't put in. But having said that, it is a tremendous film. It is very, very, very fucking entertaining. It is incredibly suspenseful. I highly recommend it. I think it's on Netflix as well at the moment. It is in Korean, so obviously, like Parasite, it's going to have subtitles. Don't let put you off because of it, because like Parasite, it is really, really fucking good, and you won't notice subtitles after the first half an hour. But it's incredibly fucking a lot. It's a lot to put someone through to watch this film. But I would recommend it if you want some sort of violence during your Christmas period.
I'm going to watch it.
Maybe.
I'm going to watch it on Point of Principle.
Oh, can we do a reaction video on YouTube?
Because you told him we wouldn't like it.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it purely because you said I'm not going to enjoy it. And I am
You won't.
going to fucking smash it.
There is a lot of, like, I'm obviously not trying to spoil it, but there is a lot of, like, dismemberment, and especially towards women, which I found like there was a lot of that. There was like all the time. There's reasons for it, but when you watch the film, but it's a really clever story and it's told in a really weird way. It's very much like Parasite. Like, you think it's going somewhere, and then at the halfway point, it kind of just changes, like Parasite did, like when it had the everyone sitting around the table and the thunder came and then the camping trip and all that kind of stuff. It's very much like that, but it's a cop film. There's a cop chasing down a murderer who's killing off a bunch of people, and the more he's free, the more people he kills. But there's a twist to it that happens very early on that you start to notice, but I won't say what that is. And it makes the film very different from anything you've probably seen in regards to cop films and chasing criminal films and all that kind of stuff. But it's really fucking good. Really good.
I'm in.
You're just, violence is a lot. And I will warn everyone, it's a lot of violence. That's all I'm going to say. However, I do want to talk about something in a little bit more detail, because there was a film I sent voice notes to you guys about, because I was like, I don't know what I'm watching. I don't know what this is. I'm very confused. It was a couple of weeks ago, and I was just like, I can't describe the film I'm watching to you.
Are these the erotic films even though, you were talking about?
No, that's coming up.
Oh, okay.
That's a trilogy. That's like fucking Lord of the Rings for me.
I thought it was those.
Are you just outing his porn habits?
No, I meant the real erotic movies that he said he was watching.
Don't make me do the voice again. Has anyone heard of the film called The Endless?
Nope.
No.
Okay, well, Penny will know this. The guys that made a series that I think both of me and you watched, VHS, the horror series.
Yep.
Unfortunately, these guys made the worst one, VHS Viral. Which,
oh no.
Which wasn't as good as the first one when I watched it.
Yeah,
so
I'm trying to think if I've seen that one. VHS actually gave me the creeps when I watched it.
It did, yeah. I have it on DVD actually, so I actually quite liked it.
Like, I watched it in the middle of the day and was just a bit like, oh no, I didn't. Well, I don't know if I've seen the
creepy
second one,
it's
but
like
that's because I heard it.
Found footage sort of deal. So yeah, it is quite creepy.
I love an anthology.
You do. And found footage. Oh, it's depending on the film, but yeah. So I found out about this because I was like, oh, have they made a new VHS? Because I'm wondering if like they carried on with that series and maybe they turned it around a little bit after Viral came out. They didn't, but the guys that made or co-wrote and I think starred in it, two guys, Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead. Okay. They both had they had a main part in VHS Viral, but they decided to go in a completely opposite direction and do like fully fund their own film. It's a low budget film that they decided to do called The Endless. And it came out in 2017. And I'm not going to spoil it all because I did like it. I did like it I did like it. Am I questioning myself right now?
Yeah, you don't sound
Doesn't
convinced.
sound like it, yeah.
I did like it. It had promise. That's what I'm saying. It's just so okay. I'm gonna lightly spoil it.
Was it a good idea, poorly executed sort of deal, or no?
It's like one of those ideas you just come up saying, like, wouldn't it be funny if we made a film like that? But no one would actually make a film like that. But they did.
Oh, the Kevin Smith thing, yeah.
Is it called a Kevin Smith thing? Is that the official lore?
Not official.
Well, I've just called it that. I'm thinking of I'm thinking of Tusk, which was why would anybody make this? Oh, Kevin Smith made this.
I'm going to give it credit because it is a low budget film and it looks fantastic for a low budget film. It looks like a proper fucking, high budget film in terms of like cinematography and everything. There's a lot of effort they put into this. And I appreciate that these two, like, they're not well known, but they're working hard, like, on this indie film. And there's an interview I watched of them. They're really passionate about this film and the story they were trying to tell. So I'm not trying to go after them or anything like that because I honestly think it's worth...
No Twitter beef.
Yeah, I'm not doing that because I honestly think it's worth a watch. But I'm going to mildly spoil the premise of it because you kind of need to know, but I'm not going to say the big things that happen in it, but okay. Jesus Christ. So it's a film about two brothers, and this is played by the two guys that I mentioned before. They wrote this film, they directed it as well, and they're starring in it. They got the Tommy Wiseau, the Neil Breen treatment, all that kind of stuff. So they're two brothers that used to be in a cult, and the cults, they left the cult at a young age, and when they left at a young age in about like their teenage years, they got a lot of press footage about them like leaving this satanic cult where they worshipped UFOs and weird shit like that. But you just see like television reports at like kind of the start of the film about this, with them talking about it like, oh, we left it because it was weird and there's mutilation going on and that we couldn't stay there anymore. The film kind of starts like 20 years later when they're in their 30s and 40s. The two of them still live together as brothers, which is kind of weird. But that's just the way it is. They've got no girlfriend, no nothing. They just sort of live together in a shitty apartment with shitty jobs. And the younger brother gets a videotape from this cult, from one of the members that they remember being there, one of these girls that was there, saying to come and visit us sometime in where we used to be.
Nope, thanks.
So
sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah.
Yep, nope.
Well, the younger brother's kind of thing for it is, well, I don't remember all that shit you said on TV about mutilations and all that stuff. I thought I had a great time when I was young there. I don't know why you left. So he convinces the older brother to go back just for a day to visit and see how everything is, years later. So when they get to this place, it's essentially like a woodland camp in the middle of nowhere. There's like a giant lake. Everyone is sort of happy. There's a guy called Tim, and he's a guy who's like a door greeter at the camp, and he's just smiling the whole time and waving all the time.
Oh, no.
Just always smiling and smiling.
Everyone knows that people that are too happy are just creepy and weird and wrong.
Correct. 100%.
Absolutely. Now, I thought this is how I saw the film going. It's going to be, they've got some sexual culty kind of thing going on. Like there's some weird shit they're doing. They got some weird things going on in behind the scenes or at night or something. You don't know. Like there's torture. I don't know. Something weird is going on. And the film kind of leads up to that for 40 minutes. And this film is about 2.5 hours long. And then at the halfway point, there's a scene where they have a tradition for anyone who is new to the camp or joins the camp, and they have a certain activity called the struggle. The struggle is a rope that is tied, a very long rope, tied all the way in the distance, and it's done during the night, so you don't know where the rope is tied to. And what you have to do is pull the rope like a tug of war, and the rope pulls back. The problem is you don't see where the rope is like tied to, and you see the two new guys. The younger guy is obviously more up for it because he's excited to be there.
Yeah.
And he kind of passes the test. He like pulls the rope further towards him, and then the younger brother does it, and he gets yanked the fuck towards, the distance because he's unable to do it.
Yeah.
The weird thing about it is that all the people that are at this camp, the older brother says these guys must be in their 50s by now, but everyone looks like they're in their 20s. Yeah.
Are they the same people that were there before?
They are exactly the same people. They even reference the fact that they used to make like food for these guys when they were young at the camp when they were first there.
Right.
So they should definitely be older.
So they should definitely be older, but their reasoning for this is that the lifestyle that these guys have in this cult is like so good. They have amazing food. They have fresh food. They have farms. They have cider that they grow in this camp. They have exercises and stuff, and everyone can run around and do whatever they want. They literally go to this cult and they can live there without paying rent or anything. It's free, essentially. But
this sounds like a big butt coming.
It doesn't go that way. It goes in a way that, and I'm not going to, I'm just very I'm not going to give it away what it is, but another scene in particular is one that's very weird. Is the older brother is playing, or there's a guy at the camp who's doing like magic tricks, and he's a very happy guy as well. He's smiling, and he goes up to the older brother and says, "Pick a card." So he shows him the cards. He picks a card. It's the King of Hearts. Then the guy instantly knows what the card is, but the older brother is like, "These guys are weird. No, it's not my card," because he's trying to fuck him. He's just trying to fuck him over. So the other guy kind of sees that, okay, this guy is trying to fuck me over. So here's another magic trick. He takes a baseball, throws it up in the air, and it doesn't come down. It's in the middle of the night, so he doesn't know where it is. Then he tells the older brother to hold out his hand, and then 10 seconds later, it falls in his hand out of the sky.
Magic dove. There's definitely a dove up there that catches the baseball.
Fuck, spoil it.
Shit, sorry.
Someone on a crane.
Someone on a crane 24/7 holding the rope up and everything.
Imagine if you could train a dove to do that if you were a magician. That'd be amazing.
Would train a dove to catch a baseball?
Yeah. And
probably not.
No, but imagine if you could.
I mean, a fucking eagle, something that's big enough to get its talons around it, but not a dove. They're fucking tiny, man. You might as well try and train a pigeon to catch a football. It's not going to happen, is it?
But imagine if you could.
The proportions are way out.
It's not a dove.
It's a crane. We've gone through it, Penno.
So yeah, a lot of weird things start happening in camp. Like when they see at one point, the skyline, there's 2 moons instead of 1.
That's unusual.
So they only see 2 moons in the sky. Yeah, instead of 1. And then there's some talk about a 3rd moon coming. And the brothers are like, what do you mean a 3rd moon? There's only 1 moon. Why is there 2 even?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no, when the 3rd moon comes, you'll see. So
I don't want to see.
Someone just drops their trousers.
Got it. Yeah, I don't want to say too much than that, but I mean, it goes in a direction that is just so bonkers, and it kind of does make sense. It, like, if you suspend your disbelief for a bit,
Andy,
as we would say, Andy. But it's kind of in the similar realm of Shutter Island or Inception, where it's like you have to kind of just accept what's going on, even if some of it...
Accept the 3rd moon and go with it.
It does make sense in the end,
yeah,
in a way, but there's another layer to it that happens at the final third. And then when the final third happens and you realize everything that's going on, like why they're a cult in the first place, why those weird things happen, why is there a rope that goes into the kind of sky and was the 2 moons and all this kind of stuff, it loses its interest a bit because it becomes like an action film. It's fucking weird. It's like a horror suspenseful film at the start, mystery kind of thing, and then the last third, there's even like a cheesy line that made me go, oh for fuck's sake, right at the end, where it's like so melodramatic and stuff that it turns into like if Arnold Schwarzenegger suddenly decided to jump into this film 30 minutes towards the end, the film would flip quite a bit, and it just... Is
it like they tried to M. Night Shyamalan that shit or something, maybe?
It's very, very...
Shyamalan-y.
Yeah, storyline-wise, and it's very Shyamalan-y. Very. And I appreciate...
Coining it.
I appreciate the story these guys are trying to have, because the film looks fucking amazing. Like, in terms of what it looks like, in terms of the filming and everything, the acting is fucking insanely good as well. It's really fucking good. I just think that the final third really just kind of drops it quite a bit, and you don't really get a payoff. It's a bit Hatchet-y ending as well.
I wish that wasn't a thing.
You kind of have to just accept it and move on. There's no like sequel or anything, but it's a weird one. I would possibly recommend it. You will be very glued to it for the first hour and a half, and then once you realize,
then fuck it.
Well, once you realize what it is, you'd be like, no, surely not, kind of thing. You'd be like, no, that can't be true. That's silly, kind of thing. So it's worth it for that intrigue, I would say.
I'll stick it on my list.
Very careful with spoilers there.
Remind me what it's called.
It is called The Endless. It's 2017 film. There you go.
Anyway, 2 moons brings the truth. 3 signifies the ascension.
All right, that just all sounds like metaphor again.
No. You know that physics equation in my room?
Yeah?
That's what it is to me. And I still haven't finished that. But what I can tell you is that if you and Aaron, you stay one more day, you go fishing in the lake, and you go out to this buoy, you dive straight down, and you grab what you find there.
Andy, what did you watch?
I watched a couple of films, much like Dan. One of them is too good to spoil, the other one less so. So I watched...
You guys watching decent films for once. What's that about?
Yeah.
Because we don't just stick to horror, Pen. That's the difference. We like to...
That is true.
Spread out our genres.
I didn't watch any horror this week. Shut up.
I watched a horror action film this week.
Oh, apart from the Hat movie. But yeah.
So I watched a film called Overlord.
Oh,
I watched that this week. I'm a fucking liar.
Come on, Pano.
out of all the films.
I even put it on our Instagram.
Fuck's sake, you're jumping all over my Kool-Aid. What are you doing?
If you looked at our Instagram, you'd know I watched it with a friend of the podcast, Chris, last week. We watched Overlord and the new Friday the 13th, which was terrible. But carry on.
I have not seen it yet.
Is that the one with Freddy the Pedo?
No, because it's Friday the 13th.
Oh, okay.
Not Nightmare on Elm Street. Get it right before you try and wind me up.
Nightmare on Elm Street is still the pedophile one, right?
No. I'm not rising to the bait this
just
time.
checking.
Everybody knows he's not a pedo.
Apart from the director of that remake.
Yeah, apart from that guy.
And the writer.
And Jackie O'Haley.
So I watched Overlord, Dan.
Yes.
I'll just talk exclusively to you as Penny has seen it this week. And I guess anyone listening. And it is about a group of American soldiers who drop into Nazi-occupied France to destroy a radio tower to allow them to get troops onto the beaches in preparation for D-Day.
Right. Okay.
So initially it starts as quite a tense sort of war film. You see them in the plane, they're talking about what they're going to do when they get back and all that stuff. And then they drop and it is just absolute carnage. There's planes fucking going up in flames everywhere. Half the people who drop don't make it. You see the dude sergeant getting absolutely decimated by some German troops.
It's a very Save It Private Ryan opening kind of thing.
It is very Saving Private Ryan, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, less tense, but,
yeah,
you have, the main character, Boyce, is, hiding in shrubbery, trying to avoid being seen and stuff, and you can just feel, tension.
Yeah.
And then it sort of takes a bit of a turn, and it turns into a cross between fucking Dog Soldiers, Doom, and Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, man, it's absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
So is it kind of like mine where it goes into action territory? Is
Yeah,
it?
very much so, yeah. I mean, it starts as a, I don't want to say a strict war film, but you see them following specific orders and stuff and following pathways in regimented style. They meet a French local who they then stay with. They've got a certain period of time to get this bell tower down. But as soon as they're in that house, it just feels eerie and it just turns on a dime into something absolutely fucking bonkers. So I don't want to give anything away because I think you will really like it. It looks fucking fantastic. It's pretty well...
I mean, you said Doom and Wolfenstein. I'm fucking in.
Yeah, man, that is 100% in your wheelhouse. It's just ridiculous, though.
There's some good effects.
Yeah.
And
I think a lot of it, Pen, is practical as well. It looks like there's some real good practical stuff in it.
Yeah.
So I don't think it had a massive budget.
I don't know if it's a slight spoiler. I just saw it when I was looking up the film. Someone has asked on Google, is this based off a true story?
I'm going to go for no.
I'm going to go for no.
Yeah, all right, sure.
Maybe they've...
Parts of it.
I think the core concept is probably true.
Yeah.
I think the actual repercussions are less so.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about if you mention Wolfenstein. Okay, I think I know what you mean.
Cross those two games together and you're pretty much there, I would say.
Yeah.
Without sort of specifically saying it. You've got the combination of the two.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it goes from like 0 to 100 in about 8 minutes once you get into her house. And it's you know, there's some real graphic violence in it. And it's incredibly well acted. Like Wyatt Russell.
Is anyone in it that we...
So Wyatt Russell, Kurt Russell's kid, is in it. And he is fantastic.
He looks so much like Kurt Russell in places.
I know, yeah.
Odd.
I thought the same.
There's just certain bits and you're like, oh, yeah, he was great though.
There's a bit where he's under a table and I was like, Jesus fuck, is that Kurt Russell 20 years ago? Yeah, he was fantastic. So I'm not...
Who's the little like Italian guy in it? He's great too.
I can't remember who he is, but yeah, he had a real like arc change.
Since he was in Orange is the New Black and I'd not seen him in anything else, but I really enjoyed him in this as well.
Yeah, it was good. He fucking wound me up. And then he changed my opinion.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to mention any more about it because I think you in particular would really enjoy it.
Okay.
So you know...
Noted.
So you know I said I didn't watch any horror this week?
Mm-hmm.
I just texted my friend Chris and he was like, how could you forget? We watched Overlord, then His House, and then Freddy vs. Jason. So I was...
Fuck's sake, Fed. You don't even fucking know when you watch horror. Jesus Christ.
And yeah, they all went on our Instagram, so I did watch them. Sorry. Sorry, I'm a liar.
Isn't that when Brody stole your sofa as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That was like...
So even I knew that you'd watched horror this week.
We must be getting close. Hope nothing goes wrong. We must have dropped and land in the middle of a German squad or something.
Nothing's gonna go wrong.
Because we both know what the Nazis are gonna do to a guy named Rosenfeld.
Nothing's gonna go wrong. Just a little crowd hello, ladies. Hold your seat and stay calm. Meet you up when the light tells.
The other film I watched was, I think it was last year's Terminator film, Dark Fate.
Yep.
Terminator Dark Fate. And I'm also not going to spoil it because I think it was pretty good.
Oh. What? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Have you seen it?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm a massive Terminator fan and that film broke my heart.
He's got his angry face on.
Do you want to talk about it?
Okay. Skip the next 2 minutes if you don't want to know what happens at the start. I'm sure people know because it was very fucking debated, very much debated across the fucking boardroom when this film came out. Skip 2 minutes if you don't want to know what happens at the start.
Follow the timestamp.
This film.
Timestamps will be in the comments or whatever.
Yeah,
follow them
because it's massive. It's the most important bit, I would say, of the plot line of this fucking thing. So 3, 2, 1. They changed the fucking... John Connor dies.
Yeah.
Why? In Terminator 2, like he doesn't. So they changed it around so he gets killed. Why did they do that?
It's a direct sequel to Terminator 2. So they...
Yeah, I know, but you've already had 3 and fucking the other Genesis was the other one.
And they were fucking dog shit. They were terrible.
I agree. There hasn't been a good one since 2. I'm so disappointed.
The difference between this one and all the others after 2 is that this one has got James Cameron on board. So he was a producer.
Oh, great. Titanic. Wait.
And also the fucking director and originator of the first 2 Terminators. It's his baby.
It's bollocks.
It's not.
It's so shit.
It's not.
It is.
It's not. You're talking crap.
It is.
It
is. Penny, get your fucking judge's outfit on. Let's go.
Pick a fucking side. Pick a side.
I don't have any affiliation or emotional attachment to any of the Terminator films, so therefore I cannot be impartial on this. I'm
okay.
afraid.
No spoilers now because I said 2 minutes, so no spoilers.
Which one had Eddie Furlong in? That's the best one. I don't know.
Second one.
I like Edward Furlong. Yeah, I like Edward Furlong. There you go. Does that help?
Why did you like this one?
It felt like a good homage to the second one without being a direct sort of replacement. There were some interesting characters in it. I just thought it was pretty decent all around. It's the best Terminator film they've done since Terminator 2 by a fucking distance.
I just put it this way. When I watched it, and I went to the fucking cinema to fucking watch it as well. IMAX. I paid money to watch it. I was so excited, right?
Extra money too.
I thought this, I felt the same way. I was like, James Cameron, it's going to be great. Everyone's back. Most of the cast's back. Everything's great. Here we go. And then when that opening happened, without saying it again, when that opening happened, my heart just dropped, and I was like, I have to sit through, how long is it? 2-hour film?
2 hours.
And realize that everything that happened beforehand is just, meh, who cares?
Yeah, but that opening is integral to the rest of the plot. It drives at least two of the characters, and that creates like a development in the whole fucking theory behind it. To just write that rest of the film off because you didn't like that specific bit is pretty naive, I think.
No, I get that. I understand. But you can't, especially when Terminator 2 is, for a lot of people, the best and the most important one. You can't just this is what we've done now.
But this takes place after the events of Terminator 2 and it's addressed in the film.
Yeah, but have you seen the one after Terminator 2?
Yes, I have. It's fucking dire.
Yeah, but the thing is that those events happened and that is canon. So you can't just go a couple of films later. It's like going from like having something in the second film and then going to the fifth film and saying, oh yeah, you know, the third and fourth and all those other ones we did, yeah, they weren't that great, but let's rewrite the whole thing because we know they weren't that great.
Of course you can.
No.
I feel like they do that a lot, don't they?
It's his property, and also one of the core fucking concepts of Terminator is time travel.
Yeah, but I know.
He has a point.
So let's just, that beginning scene, someone has just sent a different machine back. That's all it is, to a different point in time. Like, you're splitting hairs. The other ones aren't worth seeing anyway.
I'm not the only one divided on this. I know a lot of people who fucking saw this and were just like, seriously?
I'm not saying you're wrong. You're obviously allowed to have an opinion on it, but...
Thank you.
You're wrong, apparently.
Open your fucking eyes.
Well, did you... Okay, so you liked it then.
I genuinely enjoyed it, yeah. I thought it was great. It was a lot, but I went into it with like really low expectations, having seen the last pretty much Terminator 3 till now, thinking they were all dog shit, and it was far better than that. It had the sort of heart and warmth of Terminator 2.
It was far better than dog shit. What a fucking tagline.
Yeah. I will say that it in terms of like overall the film, if I ignore what they did at the start, it is better than the previous ones. The previous ones were terrible. Like from 3 onwards, it's been meh. Yeah, but I guess, I mean, it has closure now, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
They won't. They might do another one, you never know. I don't know, but yeah, I guess it has full closure at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's at a good point to leave it now, I would say. But I mean, you look at Genesis with Emilia Clarke, and it's like, why was that made? It doesn't add anything to the wider narrative at all.
Yeah, that's true.
Salvation was the same. It's like they're just trying to churn them and make them money machines, whereas this one continues the story.
I did kind of like Rise of the Machines 3, I think, Rise of the Machines. I kind of liked it. Kind of.
Is that why you were so adamant that they fucked this one up? Because I thought the third one was crap.
Well, see, that's where me and you differ. I didn't love it. I just said it was passable. Like, it wasn't like anywhere near the first 2 films, and none of the fucking films after the first 2 will never be any like near them. But
I think this is the closest we'll get to a Terminator 2. Within
0.5.
Yeah, within this like series, it's the closest we'll get to a film as good as that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll agree on that.
Excellent.
At least. But my heart's still broken.
I think we might have put Penny to sleep.
Yeah, it's alright when we're not talking about fucking horror films.
I've never seen any of them, so I've got nothing to say.
Fuck off, you haven't even seen the second one. I nearly fucking choked there.
We had this conversation.
You haven't seen any of them?
What's the other film?
I've seen...
What's the other big film you haven't that you sent a text message to us about?
Christmas film?
Die Hard.
Die Hard.
Get in the fucking bin.
Which we
I've seen
will
enough
be talking
of it
about.
I've seen Alan Rickman fall off a building, and I've seen Bruce Willis crawl for a vent. I don't need to see any more.
I've seen the memes.
Yeah, exactly.
I know what a TV dinner feels like.
I know what the... Yippee-ki-yay, mother brother.
Yeah, so I didn't have anything to put into the Terminator conversation. Sorry.
Pen, I mean this with love, but you are an embarrassment to this podcast.
Oh, that's a fucking... Jesus. All right. Is that everything, Andy?
I'm sorry I haven't watched all the popular films like all the cool kids watch.
Yeah, like The Final Girls. Was that everything? He's still laughing. We broke Andy. We finally broke Andy.
The worst part was I broke myself.
You broke yourself.
Yeah, laughing at his own fucking jokes.
Yeah, that was it. Let's move on.
We all do it.
Sorry, Ben.
Was that everything you watched? Sorry.
I know the impression that he does in Scream 2. Sarah Connor. Yes. See, I know stuff.
Wow, it's like I'm there.
That's not Die Hard. What are you talking about?
No, that's fucking Terminator.
The Terminator. Anyway.
Now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho. Or something.
Tune into the Penny Oni podcast every Monday.
I can't have watched every film. Sorry.
It's fine.
I don't know why I'm the only one that's expected to have seen everything.
You should put less time into the 74 fucking nightmare films and into some proper classics.
You sound like my fucking English teacher. My English teacher was so mad at me that I was reading Silence of the Lambs at 14. She made me read fucking Troilus and Cressida and compare the two just to spite me. You sound like her. Oh, I shouldn't be reading that shit. You should read something else. Why? I'm waiting for an answer. That wasn't rhetorical.
That was really satisfying. Just watching you get yourself wound up about it.
Oh.
All is well.
I hope this roller coaster crashes.
Ooh.
Right, stop it. I will say it's quite enjoyable after a couple of weeks of making me mad. It's great to see someone else mad and me laughing, I'm just saying.
It's just nice that it's Penny.
Yeah. Sort of, but also you were also trying to piss me off for many, many weeks. So.
Yeah, but, you know, it's my MO, isn't it?
It is true.
Please sit down.
Cut the shit. Nice family. Is she a Terminator too?
Anyway, film out of the hat.
Maybe I won't talk about this one either. You clearly don't need me.
All right, that's fine with me. Film out of the hat is where we take a film and we talk about it. This is our second last one of the year. We will be doing one more in 2 weeks, and we will be doing a Christmas film, and we will be talking about that. Fine, we will be talking about that Christmas film, what it is at the end of this podcast. So stay tuned. But this week, it was Penny's choice, and we watched the 2015 American comedy slasher film, The Final Girls. Girls, not girl, girls. I'm sure everyone gets it right. This stars no one I know. Adam Devine.
Adam Devine. And then there's the dude from Vikings and the chick from American Horror Stories. I didn't write down any of their names in real life.
Yeah.
Malin Akerman's in it.
And her.
Tom.
Oh, no.
He's the
Middleditch.
Oh, and
Middleditch,
Thomas
yeah.
Middleditch. He's a
Middleditch.
comedian. Yeah. Loads of people. Oh, and Nina Dobrev, who was in The Vampire Diaries, because you're a 13-year-old girl. You've definitely seen that.
Vera Farmiga's
I don't know why I
sister.
said it like you would have seen it. Jen loves Vampire
Very
Diaries.
threatening as well at the same time. You're 13, you're a girl.
Do you think we've upset Penny?
A bit,
Not
yeah.
today. No.
We're about to upset her a little bit more, especially me,
No.
so I can't wait for this. But
Honestly, there's been a couple where you guys have really pissed me off, and weirdly, this is not one of them.
well,
Must try harder.
You can shit on this film. I forgot how much I enjoy this film. So,
Anyway,
it's fine.
The Final Girls starts with our character, Max, who's waiting for her actress mother, Amanda, who auditions for a film. When she returns, Amanda complains that she'll only be ever known as the Scream Queen, Nancy, in the 1986 slasher film Camp Bloodbath. That's her only noticeable role, and that's the only role that people recognize her, and she hates it. That's her 15 minutes of fame, I guess. But yeah.
It happens.
It's a cult classic film. Yeah, it does happen. Like Elvira. On the way home...
What? No.
Okay, I'm stepping in here. You've gone too far, Daniel. You've gone too far.
Thank you.
This is where Penny literally just kills me, stabs me in the
She's
head.
a cultural icon.
Yeah.
You can't put her off as like, oh, she did
She's
one
a-
thing for 15 minutes. She's as famous as you wish you could be.
I don't disagree.
My heart.
I don't disagree about the Scream Queen stuff, but Elvira is not one of those.
No.
Exactly.
She's
She's a cult legend. She's like Dolly Parton for Goths.
Yes.
Oh, that's a great comparison.
That is.
Jeez, I never thought about it that way.
Dan's only ever going to be famous if he can learn to do that thing with his boobs.
I mean, I'm just remembering the tits of both people. That's all really. That's a terrible.
If you can make
thing
them
to
go
say.
different ways at the same time, Dan, then you'll be really famous.
On the way home from their drive with mum and daughter, Max spills a milkshake in the car, and the mom gets distracted by it, and unfortunately, the two of them have a car crash. And Amanda is killed in the most CGI PlayStation 1 crash I've ever seen. Sorry.
It was a bit burnout, wasn't it?
It was a bit burnout revenge. So it was fine. I get it. It's not like high budget film. It's fine. I'll give it a pass. It's fine.
For people that don't play computer games, I didn't notice. So there you go.
It was very just CGI car crash. That's all. It just, like when we watched Vanilla Sky and that was very realistic and it was very straightforward car crash. I get that it's a slasher film and it has to be over the top at times, but it was like so over the top that it was like noticeable CGI and it just ruined it.
Like they crashed a lot.
Didn't explode. I mean, it just sort of rolled.
It rolled a lot. It Limp Bizkited it. That's a term, I'm fucking using it.
Don't acknowledge it, Pen. Just carry on. Don't acknowledge it.
Anyway, 3 years later, stay silent. He won't know you're there. Like a fucking
A T-Rex.
Yeah, exactly. Don't move. 3 years later, though, on the anniversary of her mother's death, Max is studying with her friends Gertie. How you pronounce it? Gertie?
Gertie.
Gertie or Gertie. I can't pronounce it right when I look at it.
Gertie.
No one is called Gertie.
She's not German. It's Gertie.
Gertie. Mika. It's Gertie. And Chris. Gertie's stepbrother Duncan is a horror film fanatic. And he shows up and persuades Max to attend a special double feature showing of Camp Bloodbath and its sequel at the screening. We don't know it's a sequel yet as well, because that
he says it's a double bill, so we know it's a sequel.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense at the end then, when I was like, oh, why is... now I get it. Okay.
Spoilers.
There we
Fucking
go.
hell.
Spoilers. That seems really immature thing to do, right?
What?
Not immature, but
Unconsidered.
he was very excited about it. But yeah, he needed to calm.
But that's her daughter.
Yeah, he needed to calm the fuck down. Like for him, I guess 3 years is kind of enough time. And he's like, I love this film, and your mum was in this film, and I want to share this. Like all these people want to see this film, but like it was a little bit
It's insensitive.
insensitive rather than immature.
Yes, really insensitive.
I found that I hated him straight away. I was like, you're a dick, as well as other dicks in this film. There's many dicks, but I just...
Can we also just talk about the tag? They show at the beginning, the movie, they show a bit of Bloodbath.
Yeah.
At the beginning.
Yes. Yeah. The
and
trailer, isn't it?
Yeah, the trailer. And one of my favourite lines, which I can't do in the sexy movie voice that I like so much, but the only marshmallow that will roast is your sanity.
What?
I have no idea what that means, but I enjoyed it immensely. The only marshmallow that will roast is your sanity.
I honestly spent most of the film thinking it was called Camp Copyright. Because it was full of tropes.
Why is that, Andy?
Yeah.
Why?
It was full of tropes. That was the point.
No, I know. I'm just...
You can't shit on it for the point. I don't know. They both told me they were going to shit on this today, so...
I didn't say I was going to shit on it.
We'll get to our feelings at the end, because I also have strong feelings about this. So they decide to come along in the end, Max and her friend. At this same time, Chris is kind of becoming the love interest. Well,
he's a babe.
He's a fucking unit.
He is a unit. He's a
big boy, isn't he?
He's very nice.
Have you seen him in Vikings?
I've seen images, because I went on a Google search afterwards. And
he is a unit.
What's his real name? Is this Thomas Middleditch? Is this him?
No, he's the nerd. Chris is Alexander someone?
Yeah, someone like
Ludwig.
Alexander Ludwig, yeah. And he ends up having a really main part in Vikings, and he's a babe.
So he's kind of a little bit flirty with Max, and Max's friend Gertie is kind of...
Why can't you say it?
I don't know. I just look at it and I say something else. It's weird.
Gertie.
Gertie. It's like an English lesson.
Oh, this is amazing.
I can't. I have a problem with words, as
It's
you
like-
may have found out for
I wonder
25
if it's-
episodes.
I wonder if it's short for Gertrude.
Yeah, it would
Gertie.
be. Yeah.
I would think so. So yeah, it's not
I thought it was
Geertrude.
short for dirty.
Fucking hell.
So Gertie is kind of pushing Max along to, like, basically, you should check out Chris, or you two should get together because he likes you and he's seen the way he looks at you. Blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff. But when they get to the movie theater, Chris is there, but also who's there is his ex-girlfriend and her former best friend Vicky. Oh no, they all rounded up at the same place on the same day in the same movie theater to see the same film. Oh no.
Wait, Vicky
Dilemma.
is his ex-girlfriend and her best friend.
Yeah, that's what I said.
That's what he said. Yeah, just in a.
Her former best friend.
Oh, I heard it as two different people. Sorry, I sit corrected.
He added in like a verbal Oxford comma, and I can't tell you why.
Blame Wikipedia. Chris's possessive ex-girlfriend and Max's former best friend.
Yeah, that's Vicky.
Yeah.
Okay, Vicky is there as well. So they all go to watch the film. And then during the film, like a weird sequence of events happens that doesn't really make any sense to me.
It does
So
make sense.
Okay, well let me explain. Okay, so they're watching the film and they're laughing along, and the cheesy 80s lines are coming up and everything. And Max sees her mom, and she's like, "Oh my god, mom,
How
she's so
awkward is
beautiful."
that there's like an awkward sex scene with her mum in it?
Yeah,
That
there's an awkward
and it
sex
was a
scene,
really
Mom,
awkward sex scene because Adam Devine is cringy and awkward.
in it.
Like,
He also says, "I'm a cherry thief," and it gets a massive laugh. And I don't
no,
know
it was
why.
awful
Why is that funny?
Yeah, I didn't laugh once. I don't know if it was trying to be funny.
because
Oh, I've literally
Because-
just put it together. I've put it together.
Did you not understand?
have you just got the virginity
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah. That's all good. That's recorded.
Oh,
That's
you
live.
didn't get it.
No.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Sorry.
So for everyone else, her mum is very naive in the movie and says, "What's that tattoo?" And he says,
And
"Oh,
she's
I
a
got
virgin.
It in, yeah,
So-
she says, "I got it in juvie. They caught me stealing cherries. I'm a cherry thief." And everybody laughs because everyone but Andy understood the implied virginity stealing
didn't
joke.
laugh. I just
Well,
rolled my
no.
eyes and went, ugh.
Yeah.
Everyone
that's
in
Anyway.
the film laughed.
Also, if he was in juvie for stealing cherries, quote unquote, how old were these people he was stealing from?
Yeah, that's a bit weird that you were in jail for that.
Yeah. Questionable.
I know you're trying to shit on all of this, but can we try and suspend our disbelief just a little?
He's like Freddy Krueger. He's a paedophile.
I knew it would come back.
Sorry, Ped.
Anyway,
hell.
let's move on. Let's move
Sorry,
on.
Ped.
So the film's going on and everything's happening and stuff. And then in a really fast sequence of events, we see everyone in the theater, and it's going to different people in the theater watching the film. One guy lights up a cigarette or a cigar or something, and
Which also happens in the film. It all happens. It's Final Destinations. It is the only way
yeah.
I could.
Yeah.
no one would smoke in the cinema.
No, this is where I'm like the suspend your disbelief bit. They're in this theatre, and we now know they need to get to the unrealistic point. So someone lights a cigarette in the theatre, in the movie, and someone does it in the theatre. Then someone's drinking in the movie.
Yeah.
Someone else is drinking. And if they've hired out the movie, and depending on...
Yeah, you can probably get away with it.
You could probably get away with it.
So the cigarette is lit, and there's a guy who brought in his own alcohol, and then all of a sudden, I don't know how steep this floor was, but the bottle falls down and it rolls really fucking quickly and passes the guy who is passing on the floor.
If you go to the Prince Charles and you drop a bottle on the floor, it rolls it's really steep.
without hitting anyone's foot.
It's the same.
That's
at
my big point.
any cinema.
Yeah, it was
Because they have sloped seats, so you don't see the back of someone's head. Come on, man.
I just think there's other ways you could start a fire to get the story going instead of like going down that route.
How are you doing it?
You think?
How are you going to start a fire?
Workshop it.
The
How are you doing it?
projector catches fire. There's
No, because the
just
projector's
any-
in a different. The projector's in a different room. The point is they had to be in the room and they couldn't get out of the theatre.
I don't know. It just seems a bit. And then there's a CGI bottle as well that happened. I was like, oh no, here we go again. But I was just like, I don't know. I just found it really. That's how we get to the fire happening and them jumping in the movie. That's all. That's all it was. But yeah,
I had no issue with it.
Nope.
Because by this point I knew what the film was going to be. So,
yeah.
A comedy
Okay.
slasher.
yeah. The clue is in the title. Camp comedy slasher.
doesn't mean that.
The final
mean
comedy
in the
slasher.
title. Either way.
The comedy slasher girls.
So the cinema goes up in flames, and then Max and all her friends decide the only way to safety, and they're the only ones doing this. Again, it's very questionable why everyone else is getting burnt alive.
You're picking more holes in this on purpose.
Did they all die? I guess they do, right?
No, they got everybody out because they all got out as well.
Let's get to the point. Let's keep going.
We don't need that bit. You're overthinking it.
I know.
Because you didn't like it.
So they jump through the movie screen by
They
cutting
don't jump
it.
through...
Oh my God, Pen, let me explain, please. They cut the movie screen open, and then they jump through the movie screen into the magical land of said movie. It's a portal into the movie. So, without knowing it, because they're about to find out, they are actually in the film. So, Max, Chris, Gertie, Duncan, and Vicky. I don't know. I can't do
what
it.
the pause was for, and it paid off. It was so good.
I can't do it.
Just say
Max's friends.
Just say
Duncan and Vicky.
Say dirty.
I can't
say dirty. You're right. Just we'll ignore the G.
I said Gertie.
No, say
Gertie.
Say dirty, like something is not clean.
Dirty Gertie.
Stop. I have a speech impediment. Stop making fun of my disability. Right. They wake up in the woods and they encounter a van with two characters. The two characters from Camp Bloodbath, asking directions for help. So we have, I forgot her name, the slutty girl, Tina. And then we have Adam himself, who
Adam
is
Devine.
I never worked out what his name was called. I just referred to him as Adam Devine the whole time.
Kurt.
Yeah, it was Kurt.
Yeah. So they're asking for directions to camp, and this is the same van. We see them in the same kind of scenario, and them driving in the trailer that we saw at the start of the film. So we know, probably at this point, the audience can know, oh, they're in the film, and the guys obviously don't. They only realize this 92 minutes later when the van comes back, and they go, hi, I'm asking for directions again. And they're like, you were just here, it's over there. And they go, bye. Same thing happens again. They test it out again. Same thing happens. So they realize that they're in a film. So they decide to take a trip to the camp by getting in the van itself.
This is the only bit that annoyed me.
Is this because I was about to say, you say it first?
So they've worked out they're in the movie. The horror nerd is like, right, the movie is 92 minutes. It keeps repeating. So on the third time, they say, oh yeah, we're new counsellors. Do you think you could give us a ride? And they're like, sure. So they get in the car and they're chatting to Kurt and Tina, but Max has already seen the film and Duncan has definitely already seen the film. Mm-hmm. And then they forget that her mum's in the back. Like, because Kurt says, oh, time to wake up sleepyhead. And you suddenly realise, oh, like her mum. That's the part where her mum enters the film. She's been asleep in the back of the car, but that would have been.
Didn't they just watch it in the cinema as well? That scene.
Yeah. So that was the only bit. I was like, how would you forget that your mum was gonna
be in the back? Yeah,
be there. But that was the only problem I had with this film. So there you go.
Okay. So yeah, they take a trip to camp, and Duncan kind of knows, obviously he's the nerd and he knows everything that's going to happen. So when a certain scene is coming, he's like, oh, this is the part where da-da-da-da happens. But they realize that there's a murder going to happen. So they're going to wait around for the murderer called Billy Murphy. I don't know if they go back to describe Billy Murphy yet and like this history of him. Not yet. But he said, wait here, like something, it's going to happen. There's going to be a murder. Billy Murphy's going to turn up. He turns up and he kills the two actors or the actual people in the film that are meant to get killed.
Yeah, so the film is going along as planned so far. Yeah. Just apart from there, innit? Like,
but at this point, Duncan decides to kind of go up to him and he's like, no, it's all right.
He's me.
Yeah, they're just actors. It's not real blood. Tastes the blood and goes, oh, wait, it's not corn syrup. It's actually blood. Oh, okay.
I love the fact that he tries to take, like, he wants to take a selfie with Billy. Yeah. Because he goes up to Billy and they're all like, no, don't. He's like, well, I'm not in the film. So he's not going to.
He's like, it's not going to kill me because I'm not a character in the film.
Yeah, and he tries to take a selfie, which is what I would... See, I say that I would be him to a point. Like, in life, I wouldn't say Candyman in the mirror 3 times, even though I know it's not real. I'm still
He's
not
a bit
doing
of an
it.
idiot, I found.
Yeah, so I still probably wouldn't go up to, like, Freddy or Jason and be like, hi, take a picture with me.
Or go up to someone 3 years after her mother died going, do you want to go see her film with your mum in it?
Shall we lick this blood and pretend it's corn syrup?
Yeah, that too. So, yeah, he tries to take a selfie with the murderer Billy, goes away, thinks it's all fine, only for a machete to just fling at his ribcage, I think, and then he falls over, and then the rest of the crew run away scared and like, oh no. This is where the loop comes in, where they're running away, but the film has to progress in a certain way, so they can't run away from camp, I think is what it's trying to say. Yeah. So it keeps looping in on itself, and the same things keep happening.
They're stuck in the footage, so if you've not filmed any other locations, they can't go there.
Anyone else get really dizzy at this point?
Yes. There was
Camera
a lot
just
of
pans around 4 or 5 times. I'm like, fucking hell.
Yeah,
that's
especially
too
at the end. At the end, it did it quite a bit, and I was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
But I don't know, is that an 80s trope? I didn't think it was, like moving the camera around, spitty, slashery kind of films. I didn't think it was.
What were they doing?
Right?
What were they doing it for? Because at one
80s
point when he's
slasher
like
trope.
later on when he's like ready, that's in a circle. But what was this?
Yeah, that's like a real fast one take movement kind of stuff they're trying to do. But I didn't know if that was like part of like, that's a slasher trope to have the camera move like that, and I didn't feel like it was.
Maybe it was just to make it look more like a movie.
Yeah, I think it was just a stylistic choice more than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Specific to that scene, as opposed to like, let's shoehorn this in.
I don't know if I'm skipping a bit, but the next bit I've got is the group decides to stop the cast from having sex. As whenever someone does fall prey to Billy's machete, they seem to have sex. So
I've just got, why are all the horny teens singing Michael Row Your Boat ashore?
Oh yeah,
Duncan has been smashed with a machete and is dead at this point as well.
Oh yeah, he is actually.
After he tries to get the selfie, Billy walks away and then the machete flings back on screen and slices him in the gut.
Oh yeah.
So he's dead. So they're like, okay, we can actually die. We can't let these people die. They run back to camp to tell them.
Chris distracts Kurt. Kurt at this point is kind of saying he's gonna bang everyone, including Max, now that she's turned up and stuff like that.
He's actually saying he wants to bench press her on his dumbbell. Not being a gym person, is that a thing?
You're asking the wrong people.
Like, do you bench press with dumbbells?
The thing is, guys, and I'm not defending the character of him, but there was a certain film that we watched, and I think I said the same thing. He's playing the dickhead, and I know you guys get annoyed with him, but he is playing that role. He's very good at it. Yeah, he's very good at playing the role of a dickhead. But you guys were so annoyed, when, especially getting the WhatsApp messages going, "Oh my god, I can't stand Adam!"
No,
he pulled me out of the film totally.
What, the humor?
Yeah, no, him specifically. Just
he was too over the top.
Yeah.
Like, I know that was the point, but he was way over. Like because Tina was over the top, being really, but that's really the point, isn't it? Really, I felt like he was a level above her, and he was not good over the top. Like, Tina being stupid and slutty was funny. Him being that, maybe it's just because he was being gross. I don't know. It
might have been. I mean, but I couldn't fucking stand it. He totally sucked me out of the film and enjoyed it. Ruined it for me.
He did what in the film?
I don't know. I don't know.
During this time as well, Max is trying to persuade Nancy to stay a virgin, which is an awkward conversation, especially when she knows that's her mum. Yeah. Nancy doesn't know.
What?
I love all the little moments with her mum.
I didn't say any.
No, but I loved all of her interactions with her mum.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying that.
Well, that was just when she was trying to say, "Stop banging, otherwise you'll die."
Yeah.
Well, it was cute because she was like, "You sound like my mom," and she was just like, "Yeah, keep your fucking trousers on, stay away from Kurt, and keep your pants on." I thought it was funny and nice.
I didn't say anything bad about it. I just saying she was trying to have awkward conversations from her point of view, because it is technically her mum, even though Nancy doesn't know that's her daughter. So it's kind of a weird conversation to have, especially when she's younger. saying stay a virgin. She even looks older than Max does in the film, so she stays a virgin until what, like 25? I guess, though.
No, she's only a virgin in the film.
Yeah, but she doesn't look younger.
The camp counselors.
Yeah, but
no,
than Max.
Yeah, but look at things like Buffy. Like, they all look mid-30s. Mean Girls is the
That's
same.
true. Yeah,
It's a deliberate choice.
Well, and she had to play young her and old her without it being too much of a difference. Because she is like 40.
Vicky sticks with Paula, who we find out is the final girl in the film. She's the one who actually, in the actual film, ends up killing the actual slasher, and so she kind of needs to stay alive so she can be the final girl kind of thing.
Can I jump in here? Pen, you've seen a lot of horrors.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't strike me as a final girl at all.
No, she didn't strike me as one either. Final girls.
No, she was too cool.
Yeah, the final girl can't just be a virgin. She has to, as we learnt from Behind the Mask. The whole point is, which they do quite well in this, is that the final girl doesn't think she can do it.
Yeah.
And then she kind of has to go through that transition of something happens and she becomes brave enough and she's like, yeah, fuck it, I'm going to save everyone. Whereas Paula was just like, although she was a virgin, she had a big dick energy.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like, she turns up in her leather jacket and like a fucking Camaro, and I'm like, that's not a final girl. I've never seen that in a film.
No, I assume it was just because they didn't really have another trope. Like, it couldn't, like, her mum was, I don't know.
They had too many people playing all the other tropes, I think. Yeah, so they had to have a cool girl trope.
And seeing as how technically she, I don't know if you can figure it out, but that she was never going to be the final girl. I suppose it didn't, they just needed her as another trope, I guess.
Yeah, I agree.
During this time, Gertie, I can't say it, bonds with Blake. So when she brings up the topic of Billy Murphy, they talk about this urban legend of Billy, and it's real, and he's coming to kill them all because of what happened in the 1940s, I believe 50s, 40s, where he went to the camp with a group of friends, and then when he was in like the Portaloo, his friends put like a firecracker or like a firework of some sort inside the Portaloo. It damages his face, so then he covers up his face and he wears this mask over the bandages that he covered, and he ends up going back to kill them all in their sleep, I believe.
Transition to the flashback is amazing.
Yeah.
Where you just have like streams of almost like icing dripping down the screen, and then they're suddenly transported back to black and white.
As they go into black and white. And
yeah.
I also like that while Nancy is telling the story about legends, Tina's like, I love legends, like Loch Ness, Bigfoot, and Bon Jovi. And I appreciated it.
You love a bit of Bon Jovi, don't you?
I do fucking love Bon Jovi. He is a legend. Him and Meatloaf, the best.
I'll give you Meatloaf.
What age?
I'll give you Meatloaf, in fairness.
Showing your age there, Pen.
I first went to see Meatloaf when I was 9 and Bon Jovi when I was 12, so yes, I'm old.
How was the 60s? Anyway.
I've got nothing.
So they hear about this urban legend, they try to flee. Kurt and Paula drive off, but then Duncan emerges magically with the machete still in him.
Yeah, I didn't...
And then the car hits them, and then they crash into a totem pole, and then the car blows up, killing Kurt and Paula. So the final girl is now dead. And I've written,
I'm not sure why Duncan dies twice, but now the way you've said it, that happens quite a lot in films where you think somebody is dead and they come back.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what they were trying to do, but at the time, I was just like, oh, he's not dead. Oh, he's dead now.
It's a pretty, because
it was a
deep
very
wound,
short,
though. It's a pretty deep wound to survive.
And it was just very quick. Like, oh, look, there's Duncan. Oh, he's dead again. Never mind.
Well, I think it was just to get a bit of the comedy element in, but I mean, that does happen in horror films where people come back. Like LL Cool J.
There we go. Now, where the characters who originally survived the movie can die, Max and the others decide to save anyone they can. So they dress Mad Tina in a life jacket, and she before this.
Why does he hate my boobs?
Before this, she gets some Adderall from what's her face? I forgot everyone's name.
So first, she's supposed to have a There's a scene there, they're getting ready for a slumber party, and every time anyone takes their top off, Billy appears, which I really like.
Do you do the sound?
Although that's Friday the 13th, that's Jason. But I do like that the movie characters can't hear it, but the other guys can hear it. So they're like, they can hear the noise and like, oh, Billy's coming.
So like, they're still watching the film technically from their side.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then like, so every time someone takes their top off, because you can't have sex in movies or you die, then Billy turns up. So because Tina is supposed to have a striptease scene at the slumber party, they put oven gloves and tape them to her hands and put her in a life jacket so that she can't
to
take
prevent
the
her
clothes
from
off.
undressing.
And she's just like, why does he hate my boobs? And then, she gets hold
Gaffer
of...
tape as well.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Like, I really like her character. I like that she's...
Me too.
The stupid, slutty one. Like, they've put two together. But, like, I find her really endearing.
She was probably my favourite, I would say.
She was just naive, wasn't she?
Yeah, because there's so many films I've watched like this where it's just she is that embodiment of the dumb one who is also reckless and wild and just will have a striptease scene and blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff. Especially in older films, not now probably, but yeah.
But like when she is trying to stop her mum from having sex because she's like, no, don't have sex. Sex is bad. And she's like, why? Tina's had sex twice today and she's fine.
So they also decide that Max is the only remaining virgin after they ask everyone who's a virgin. She's going to be the new final girl. So in a plot to get Billy's machete into her hands so she can kill him and end the film being the final girl.
I do really love, because they have a bit of a row because her mum is like, no, I'm a virgin, I can do it.
Yeah.
No, somebody else says she's a virgin and she can do it. And she's like, no, I can't, right? And she runs off in tears. And she runs off under a tree. That scene where Max then goes to follow her and they're sitting under a tree, I just really like how it was shot. Like it was really bright and colourful, but with that like Vaseline over the lens type dreamy look.
Yeah, it was soft, wasn't it? It was a soft sort of image. Because
we are kind of glossing over, like I've said before, like the moments with her mum I really like.
Well, during this bit, they bond. Yep. And they theorize that maybe if Nancy survives, they can go back home with Max and be whoever she wants to be.
Which is,
if they can get the two of them out.
It's a nice idea. Yeah, it is a comedy horror film, but it is still like her dealing with the loss of her mum. And I can't imagine then even watching your mum in a movie afterwards, let alone being in it with a younger self.
Yeah.
So there is a lot more to the scenes that her and Max have together. Like I cried at the end of this film, had a nice little cry. I like rolled a tear. I found it very touching in places. I'm probably having a weird day, but I did like the kind of the balance of that as well, because it would be fucking weird.
You're allowed to get emotional about it. I mean, we both love your mum, so
exactly.
She is the best Bennett.
Yeah, and then I think if I had to hang out with younger her and then be like, you don't have to argue that with me. You'll have to argue that with the other.
I bit my tongue there. I nearly went slightly too far.
Move on.
So the group decide to come up with a plan. So they booby trap the cabin and they release Tina from her oven gloves and her life jacket to get her to perform said striptease in front of...
Sorry.
Go on.
I thought the point of giving her Adderall was a really good way to do the striptease and make it funny and not too weird. Because when she's
it was a weird striptease.
But do you know what I mean? Like, if she'd have done, I imagine, her proper striptease.
What, sexy striptease?
Sexy striptease, but because she was she reminded me of Butthead when he was Cornholio. And she's all like twitchy and like this. So then,
I obviously don't know what Adderall is, because I thought it was supposed to slow you down, unless I'm thinking of Ritalin.
It's the energy tablets, pretty much.
I think Adderall is good for studying and focus and stuff. So I think
used to give them to students. Yeah.
And I guess if she took 30 of them, she's like,
yeah, she'd have the shakes
vibrating.
She was like an excited chipmunk.
Yeah. So when they like unleash the beast and she's like ripping off the gaffer tape and flinging the oven gloves everywhere, I thought it was a good way to have the striptease without it being sexy and cringy. It made me laugh. And you were like, and then obviously the trope of she's got a strip to get him to turn up.
And show her boobs.
I like that they went classic 80s and had a bit of Warrant. She's my cherry pie.
Cherry pie. Yeah. And she does still like look quite sexy, like flinging off an oven glove. I've never tried it, but I don't think I could make it look that good.
I mean, I was into it. I've never seen anyone fling off an oven glove like that.
Looking quite sexy, flinging off an oven glove. Billy gets a bit closer and Tina starts to panic. She then just runs and trips over a tripwire and dies headfirst into a bear trap.
No one notices it. No one says a thing.
Yeah.
It glosses over so quickly. It's like, oh, she's dead. Oh, well.
It happens. Wasn't there someone in a bear trap in my horror movie? Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
see, it does happen. It was a clown in a bear trap with yours.
What a classic. So the rest of the group, Blake, Vicky, Gertie, are also killed off fighting Billy. Pretty horrible. Like, this is where the camera went back to the whole, like, one-shot, zoom-ins, twist.
Yeah.
Everyone getting killed one by one. Chris, Nancy, and Max flee the cabin. Billy chases them. Lovely Chris gets stabbed, unfortunately. And he's just, go on without me. Save yourself, kind of thing. He doesn't talk like that.
No, he's
He's got that voice from. He definitely doesn't talk like that.
He's not in Vikings now.
No, definitely not. And Billy kidnaps Nancy. Max then ends up finding her at Billy's barn hideout. The two women fight him, which results in Max getting stabbed before they can escape. So they come to the dilemma of, oh shit, Max is stabbed, which she thought she was going to be the final girl. Well, she didn't want to be, obviously, but like she wanted both of them to get out. But yeah, Max ends up getting stabbed. After the two retreat to the chapel,
Sorry, when's the forced flashback? Is that now? I'm lost.
We've missed it.
Oh, okay.
Just chip in.
I just like they had to try and get away from Billy, they used a forced flashback. So Max's mum doesn't know anything, but they're like, quick, tell the story of Billy. And
recite
then it'll force them.
Yeah.
And I like that they knew enough to use the tropes, like, against, but like they could use the tropes from the movie to help them out.
Yeah, I mean, when
Didn't they get hit by the car?
Yeah, so when they do the forced flashback, it obviously takes them back to the scene where they're showing young Billy getting hit with the
Firecrackers, yeah.
and older Billy is stood in the road and gets hit by a car, which was fucking genius. Like, I genuinely laughed quite loud at that point.
Well, I also like they have to step over, I think maybe that was in the original one, they had to step over the title.
Yeah.
Like, so in the flashback, the title's like the summer of 1945, and they have to just step over it. Just, I really liked the little attention to detail.
Yeah.
The horror movie nerd in me liked that. And I also really liked when Max goes to get her mum, and before Chris is like, you have to go, he's like, I don't want to die alone. Like, I quite liked that they gave him some vulnerability, and because you've got on one side these very, like I say, like with Adam Devine, you've got these very
caricatures,
one-dimensional stereotype characters, and then you've got our characters.
Yeah.
And also to have like Chris being like this big unit of a guy, being like, I don't want to die here alone.
Yeah, and he says earlier that he's scared, he's frightened of being there, and I agree with you.
Yeah, thanks.
So after the two retreat to the chapel, Max tells Nancy that in the real world, she is Max's mother. They end up bidding each other farewell because Nancy says, no, you stay, you be the final girl. This is how it's supposed to be. You know, you live your life. I will end up being the one that gets killed. Which kind of gets ruined by another striptease. It ruins that beautiful moment.
It doesn't.
No, it doesn't ruin it. It was great because
She's doing it for her.
I know.
But that's the only way. That's the only way they've set up to get him to turn up. So, and she only undoes her top, so you only see her bra. She doesn't actually get her boobs out.
And
but
she's dancing to Betty Davis' eyes.
Her favourite song.
Her favourite song that the car crash happens to in the beginning of the film.
Yeah, it was a nice, like a little bit of humour with, okay, I'm gonna save you and I'm gonna die and I'm gonna do this for you, but also I've got to open up my blouse to make this happen. So you've got it, you know, she's crying and it's sad, but like she does that and she does a little dance and it just kind of takes the edge off a little bit.
I think if it hadn't have gone that way, it would have been too much of a heavy moment and would have broken it.
Yeah.
But I think it was like quite a delicate end that was sensitively done with a bit of humour.
Yeah, I literally have a note that says blub because I'm already like rolling a tear at this point. already started crying.
So Nancy ends up getting stabbed. Max doesn't want to look, but they're like staring at each other until the last moment. Nancy gets stabbed. And then Max collapses or faints. But now she's the final girl. She suddenly has a burst of energy. And she has the power to kill Billy. I forgot what she says at this point. She says something motherfucker or something. I can't remember.
You fucked with the wrong virgin.
You fucked with the wrong virgin, which is a great line. But yeah.
But that's usually what happens with the final girl. They can't do it and they are the victim, and then
suddenly
something in the movie has to happen. Yeah, something has to happen where they're right, fuck it, I have to step up. So obviously for her that was
seeing her mum die.
Because we also missed out Gertie and Victoria dying as well.
Yeah,
but they died. All those characters. I'll get to part of my problem. All those characters die so quickly that you don't notice it. Like it's just it's gone. That's it.
Come on,
you do.
Let's crack on.
Yep.
All right. So they end up having a fight. I will say one positive thing, so you think I'm so negative. I fucking love the music in some of these parts. Like, really fucking good music.
Yeah.
What about the visuals in this scene, though, that fight?
That fight was good. That's the thing. The music and the fighting, it was a good scene. I liked it.
Visually, it looked amazing. Like, big flashes of red lightning, purple swashes across in the sky. You got the green and the dark. It looked, everything popped. It looked fucking gorgeous.
Like Scott Pilgrim. They fight and she eventually decapitates him with his own machete. A wounded Chris arrives. The two of them kiss. And the credits for Camp Bloodbath play in the sky.
Such a nice touch. I loved that. I thought that was such a nice touch.
Yeah.
Like, and the way they kind of come out of the, I say out of the floor, but they come out of the scenery. Just, they were obviously massive words in the sky, but they weren't like in your face credits. I enjoyed those.
I liked that it had the blue sort of rated R thing, but it kept reminding me of Queens of the Stone Age.
One of them. So they end up holding each other, hugging each other, Chris and Max, and it's the end of the film. They seem to get transported to somewhere, and Max wakes up.
Sorry, they seem to get what?
Transported somewhere.
We're going with that, are we? Transported?
What do you want me to say?
Transported?
Does it? Oh my fucking god!
I just thought we should use real words. Sorry, we can make up words if we want.
Max wakes up to find herself in a hospital. I love fucking doing the storyline for every film we do. I really enjoy it, guys. Every film. Max wakes up.
He's never asked us to do it, though. Weird, isn't it?
Fine. I happily will let you guys do it because I have to read it every week and then I go, no,
don't tell them
you
how
said
the
her
sausage is
name
made.
wrong. Dirty. Her name is Dirty. It's not.
Honestly, you don't want me reading my 3,000 word breakdowns of them. We'll be here all fucking day.
Well, don't read 3,000 words. Yeah, well then, whatever. Anyway, fuck you. Anyway.
I didn't have a go about transportation.
Max wakes up to find herself in a hospital where she's reunited with her friends. Everyone is not dead. They're all like, oh no, we're in a hospital. It's cool. What's his name?
Duncan.
Geeky nerdy guy survived his thing. He got stitched up. Yep. He got stitched up. He's all well and good.
Still has the friendship bracelet that her mum gave her.
No.
Mum is not around though. Important. But then the group hears Billy Murphy's approach tune, which Penny will now do. I have to turn her up
Jason's,
in post.
though. It's slightly, yeah.
Can you do it a bit louder?
Hard to No, I can't. That is really hard to do.
The group hear Billy Murphy's approach tune and they realise that they are in Camp Bloodbath 2, Cruel Summer. Billy crashes through the glass doors of the hospital as the title appears. Max lunges at Billy before the film abruptly ends. And that is the final girls. Penny, what did you think of this film?
I forgot how much I loved. I'd literally only seen it once and remembered that I really liked it when I put it in the hat. And I really liked it again, and it did make me do a little cry. I like that it's a movie within a movie. I like the attention to detail. I like that it's not just a movie in a movie. Oh, we're trapped in a horror movie and we have to get out. Like I said before, all the stuff with her mum is really lovely, and yeah, good cast. Except Adam, well, not except Adam Devine, but he's really good at being a dick, so well done.
Yeah.
But he did annoy the fuck out of me. I really enjoyed it. I would watch. I don't know. You couldn't do a sequel, I suppose, but I'd watch another one. I would watch that again.
The final Girls is.
Girls is. Yeah.
Girls is.
No. It's a nice premise. I like it. I thought it was handled really well. I enjoyed it a lot. Strong recommend. 8 out of 10.
Ooh. Andy?
I am going to agree with Penelope on this one.
Ooh.
I don't think it was terrible. I thought it was pretty good. It was better than I expected. I kind of went into it with low expectations. Pretty funny in places. The tropes were good and handled well. They weren't excessive. They were delicately used. There were some really touching moments in that even I was like, that's quite sweet and sentimental. It looked fantastic in places. The soundtrack, yeah, it was great. I'm going to give it... Here's the thing, right? I wouldn't rush out to watch it again, and I probably wouldn't hunt it out, but if it's on, I'll watch it. So I'm going to give it a relatively...
Middle of the road.
I'm going to give it a relatively fair 6, because I can't give it a 6.5.
Okay.
Nice.
I like the initial premise of it. I know one of the things, and I'm not going to put it into my score because it seems unfair to do that, but I think one of the things when I started watching it was that I immediately went, this is just another film that Penny has talked about that's a meta horror film that knows it's a horror film that's also a comedy. And I immediately was like, oh, I know everyone's going to have a role. Everyone's going to assume you're this role and that role. And like, that's part of it. That's why I was kind of like, oh, here we go again. But I'm going to pretend like nothing like that ever happened in the past. I'm just going to go into this if I was watching it fresh, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Penny's sharpening her knife.
I tell you what, if Penny's not, I fucking am.
I think it's okay. Okay, go on.
No, I was just going to say, I don't think it's as similar to the films we talked about. Like, I know you said, like, here's a horror film and here's how it's weird because I've been picking shit ones, but there's only so... I am on a bit of a phase with horror films, I suppose. It just is unfortunate this came out of the hat after I talked about so many that are similar.
Yeah, I mean, it was last week
we
talked about, oh my god, I'm in a horror movie or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you put this film into before episode 1.
Yeah.
In May.
It's a weird coincidence, but this sounds like a much better version of that film.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's just bad timing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it was fine. I think the problem I have with it is that it's comedy horror, right? And it rarely made me laugh. I think Tina was the most that made me laugh because she was mental. But that was the only times. It wasn't scary.
I wonder sometimes if they have to call it a comedy horror if it's not necessarily scary.
Didn't they call it?
It's a horror film. That wasn't scary.
Didn't they call it a comedy slasher?
Yeah, I think so.
Wasn't it a comedy slasher? So it fits in with like the likes of Scream and all of those sort of slasher types.
Yeah, I know. That's fine. I just, it didn't have, it was... I wasn't, like, it wasn't, if you're meant to be scared of the killer, I wasn't scared of the killer.
Yeah, but you're not scared of the killer in Hatchet. You're not scared of Ghostface. Yeah.
I'm more scared of Hatchet fucking killer than this guy.
I think that's what I mean. Like, I think they might get away with if you put comedy in it, when people go, oh, it wasn't scary. Like, yeah, it was a horror film, but it wasn't, I don't think all horror films are necessarily meant to scare you in that sort of way.
That's
so if you
fine.
put comedy in it, so it makes sense why you weren't scared, and also why it possibly wasn't enough comedy to make you laugh either.
Well, no, they tried to do comedy jokes and it fell a bit flat. And I'm not just talking about I'm just not talking about Adam's fucking role, which incredibly flat, but that was for reasons for being a dick in that film. There was just a lot of times when they were trying to be funny, it just felt flat.
It didn't quite work.
So I did like the unexpected kind of touching bits with mum and daughter. I think that was good. I agree with that. I really like the music, and the final third is actually quite cool. The supporting cast are very, very forgettable, and they die very, very quickly, and it's just don't have much to go on. I know it's about mum and daughter, the main cast, really, but it was okay. Like, I'm not saying it's bad. Don't jump at me.
Fine.
I'm not saying it's bad.
You can have an opinion.
I still watched the whole thing. I only sent 2 memos or 3 maybe. I don't know. But I think it was fine. I think
absolutely,
if I had to, I could watch it again. maybe, but probably not. But it was fine.
That's fair.
5. Middle of the road.
I thought you were going to be harsh with it, to be honest.
Yeah, so right.
No, what do you take me for? I'm not
Dickhead.
harsh with anything.
You sounded like you were going to be harsh with it.
Wow.
Yeah,
well, we know who's the dickhead here.
Yeah, it's me. It's always been me. I've got no issues with it. What's your point? What are you getting at?
I can be nice sometimes. It's just when you choose emoji movies and fucking hyena poo poo, that's when I fucking lose my shit.
Just remember, I picked this film in case people liked it, not to wind
exactly.
anybody up.
Penny's in my good books. You're fucking not, Andy.
Mate, I picked those films for the content, and let's be honest, it fucking works.
Yeah, I did. I bet.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
So the final movie out of the hats is happening in 2 weeks for the end of the year, and we've decided collectively to pick the film that we're going to watch, and it's going to be a Christmas one, and we haven't seen it, none of us.
And I bet none of you have seen it either.
And I bet none of you have seen it either. So the film we're going to watch, I forgot the name of it. I think it's called Santa with Muscles, right?
Yeah.
It is called Santa with Muscles, starring Hulk Hogan.
Can we get the drum roll in just for a laugh?
Drum roll, please. Our film out of the hat for next week for
next
2 weeks, the week after next, is Santa with Muscles from 1996, starring our absolute favourite and a returning cast member, Hulk Hogan.
He's my favourite Hulk Hogan.
It's Christmas time and an evil multi-millionaire accidentally hits his head. Jesus, is this the fucking description? Only to be convinced by a fiendish elf that he is Santa Claus. Stars Hulk Hogan. That's literally the description. Apparently the ending is incredible and it has the weirdest fucking plot. And yeah, Santa with Muscles, 2.6 on IMDb. I cannot fucking wait. I wonder if the whole family member is in here again. I wonder if fucking Nick is back. I may be looking to see if Nick is in here right now. It stars Hulk Mila Kunis.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
For context, everyone, I don't know where I saw this, and I took a screenshot of it and then sent it to the boys today, and we literally decided this is what we were going to watch, so we know nothing about it.
I've definitely heard this film going around, but never seen it. I just know that I'm going to have some fucking issues. So if that's what you want for Christmas, is me getting upset, congratulations.
Yes. All I want for
I honestly
Christmas
can't wait. Like, it looks so bad. It looks so bad. It might be worse than fucking Little Hercules at this point, but I can't believe we haven't heard about this. 996, Jesus.
You weren't even born, were you?
I was born 91.
He was still an embryo.
Yeah.
Wow, thanks.
It was just some jizz.
I don't know why that's funny.
Just shame my family line.
I wasn't shaming the fact you were jizz.
What's shameful about being
I'm
jizz?
just some jizz.
We were all jizz
Everyone
at one
was
point.
just some jizz.
Yeah, but you had to go and say it on national radio. Penny, what is our socials?
You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Unusual Suspects Pod and on Twitter at Unusual Podspect. I'm at Penny_photopit on Twitter.
At Just Jizz. At Dan Talks a Lot.
Can someone check to see what at Just Jez is? Just to make sure.
Is that taken?
At Joyce21 for me.
Watch us, will you, tomorrow for After Dark. Some exciting things may be talked about on YouTube. If you don't know what the fuck we're talking about, listen to the last 2 episodes. We talked about it.
You can't have Just Jizz on Twitter.
Well, the important information is now found, thank God. Right, so...
What is Just Jizz? Is it something horrific?
I'm trying to wrap this up.
It's some girl from Los Angeles with 26 followers called Beatrix. Her tweets are protected because I'm not following her.
Follow her.
I fucking give
Make an update.
I don't want to.
I give up. We'll be back next week, unfortunately, for more fun. We'll see you then. Bye,
Bye everyone.
Bye.